Hi, I'm Erica Monet, and welcome to Metamorphosis, where my goal is to help you embrace you through sharing my journey. So before we start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So, today I really just wanted to talk about what it's like to be hurt. And yeah, we all get hurt. We all go through different things that hurt us. But recently I experienced an unexpected hurt and I really didn't know how to process it. Someone very close to me basically said some things that were very against who I am as an individual, but also who my family is. And so it was very hard to hear those things. It was very hard to see that that person felt that way and to not know where that was coming from, knowing that that particular person is very close to me and that they had been very supportive of me as who I am. So it was very confusing to me. I just had all these different thoughts. I was hurt. I was in denial. I felt so betrayed. I just didn't know where to start, where to end. Well, I ended up confronting that person indirectly at first. I kind of threw a little shade their way, and they called me out on it. And later, I just still couldn't sit right with it. Like I was still hurting. I was still trying to process it. I'm still trying to process it, honestly. But in that day, I couldn't sleep. And so I texted that person just kind of to be really honest. I kind of said what was going on, how I felt, why it made me feel that way. And then they responded also hurt that I felt hurt. If anything, they were confused as to why what they said impacted me. And so from that, what I really wanted to focus on is how do we move out of our hurt when we don't know why? And I just want to say, like, I think the key to it is like realizing that you can only control what you can control. I can't control, even though I love that other person, I trust that other person, and I held a certain level of expectations for that person. I can't control that person. I can't control how they feel. I can't control how they see the world around them. How even if what they're talking about is related to who I am, it's not how they personally view me. And I also have to realize that they may be dealing with their own situations that have nothing to do with me, that may have led to them saying the things that they said. So I feel like when it comes to like dealing with and processing that hurt, that betrayal, we have to remember that the first thing we have to do is forgive ourselves. And I know that sounds weird because we didn't hurt ourselves, right? It was someone else. But I think we have to forgive ourselves for feeling the way that we do, because sometimes we feel guilty for having feelings about something that someone else has done, and we shouldn't. So if you are starting off a situation feeling guilt for maybe whatever it is that person's talking about has you feeling bad about yourself, don't. Maybe that person says something that had you going, oh, and I feel bad for like being angry with them, but I'm angry. Don't. Forgive yourself. You have no reason. You haven't actually done anything. So forgive yourself first, and then forgive them. Because remember, people sometimes say things out of a place of hurt themselves. And maybe their intention, like when that person said it, they weren't thinking about how I would take it, how it would hurt me. They were thinking about their own situation, their own hurt, and what they were dealing with and why it made them feel that way. So you have to forgive that person. You can't take on all these emotions or assume someone else's emotions because of something they said. And also, we make bad choices. We're people. People make bad choices. We say things we don't mean. We do things that we don't mean to do. And sometimes we say what we mean and we do what we mean, but we don't think about how it can affect others. So forgive them. Now, that doesn't mean forget it. That doesn't mean like be like, oh, you know what? I know you didn't mean to do that. I forgive you. And then like never remember that they ever did or said those things. Don't do that, because you may honestly be setting yourself up for an even bigger hurt later on. But genuinely forgive and then just put it away. Don't hold that person forever in debt to you, if that makes sense. Hold them accountable. So like if they say something like that and they're like, that's not what I mean, that's not how I see you, I'm sorry, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable for that apology. They do need to show you that they meant that if they've genuinely hurt you. And don't stay in unsafe situations. Because sometimes what we do is we apply that act of forgiveness to ourselves and that act of forgiveness to another person, but it's not a person that we need to be around. You can forgive someone without being around that person. You don't want to keep yourself in a place of hurt, harm, danger. You know, when I was dealing with emotional abuse, I kept forgiving it instead of forgiving it and separating myself from it. I just stayed in it. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And what it didn't do anything to that person that was doing it. It did it to me. It continued to tear me down and destroy me. And I could not continue to do that. I finally hit a place of stop. No more. But you don't want to stay there forever. You don't want to stay there and drag it out and keep doing it. So if you're able, and if you're willing and you really want to, and you know it's not safe, forgive and get away from it. You got to separate it. You can't keep doing it. But I just wanted to share that because that has been really just on my mind this week, on my heart, just because of what I was dealing with, what was happening. And there were a lot of things I feel like that happened around that theme this week. So just keep thinking as you're growing and changing and going through your own metamorphosis, that it's okay to recognize when you've been hurt. And it's okay to say, I forgive myself. Because one, it's not, usually you may not even have done anything, but you're still hurt, right? And sometimes you hold yourself accountable for that hurt, but don't do it. Forgive yourself. Then forgive that person so that you're not carrying it around. And then if needed, leave it alone. Get away from it. And that's all I really wanted to share with you guys today. Make sure you make sure you comment. I would love to hear some ways that you're dealing with hurt, some ways that you're learning to separate your hurt from the person. And make sure you subscribe so you can get more notifications when I post videos like these. I'm Erica Monet, and thank you for subscribing to Metamorphosis.